So a student sent me this problem to go ahead and solve. And when I went actually to go and solve it, I actually made a mistake. So this video is all about redemption. I figured out where I made my mistake, and I want to let you know, so therefore, as you're working through these types of problems, you don't make the same mistake that I did. Let's go ahead and see. Okay. All right, so here we have a verifying an identity, and just a quick little, housekeeping things. Remember, when we verify an identity, we want to make sure the left side is going to be equal to the right side. And typically, we always want to be able to focus on the side that is the most complicated, meaning it has, fractions or it has operations that we can apply to rewrite it in this simplified form. So hopefully you can agree with me. This left side here, it looks much more complicated here than the right-hand side. And since we want both sides to be equal, we got to kind of look at, well, what are the things that is making this more complicated? And there's a couple things that stick out to me. One, this one has fractions, this one does not. So throughout my verifying the identities, I'm going to want to get rid of those fractions. Also, this has cotangent and tangent. This does not. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite a cotangent and tangent in terms of sines and cosines. Okay. So now the reason why I like doing this is because, one, it just keeps things always simple. And a lot of times when you are dealing with problems and you get stuck verifying identity, just simply rewriting things in terms of sines and cosines can really a lot of times help you see where you should approach things. Now, I have this 1 minus these fractions, and I don't have that over here. So immediately kind of thinks to me is like, well, how can I get rid of that? So it's really important to remember, if you have a number over a number or a trigonometric function over a trigonometric function, that's equal to 1. When you are subtracting fractions, remember, as long as you have the same denominator, you can actually combine them. So here I have 1 minus cosine of theta over sine of theta. I can't do anything with that. However, if I rewrite 1 as a sine of theta over sine of theta, I now can go and combine them. On the same front, over here, I have 1 minus sine of theta over cosine of theta. If I rewrite a 1 as a cosine of theta over cosine of theta, I can now go ahead and combine these. So now at least I'm not going to have a binomial. That's at least helping me get hopefully in the right direction. Okay, but I bet you would probably agree, I kind of have too many fractions going on, right? I have a numerator, and then I have a sine of theta minus cosine of theta all over sine, cosine of theta minus sine of theta all over cosine. I don't want that many fractions to be working with in this problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this denominator over here. Now, how am I going to go and get rid of my denominator? I lost my orange. Dang it, man, my orange must be over there. And we'll deal with red. Red's not the best, but we'll work with it. So if I want to get rid of this sine and this cosine in the denominator, what I simply need to do is just multiply by a sine of theta over in the top and the bottom. Because watch what happens. If I multiply by a sine of theta over here in the denominator, as well as a sine of theta over here in the numerator, these sine of thetas are going to divide out, and up top I'm going to have a sine squared of theta. Over here, I'm going to want to multiply by cosine of theta. You can think about this as like cosine of theta over 1 in the bottom as well as in the numerator. Then again, these are going to divide out, and now I'm left with a sine squared of theta divided by sine of theta minus cosine of theta plus cosine squared of theta divided by cosine of theta minus a sine squared of theta. Okay, so a couple things are going through my brain. I didn't really get rid of my fractions. However, I have this sine squared of theta plus cosine squared of theta. So that gets my brain kind of thinking, especially with along the terms of Pythagorean identities. Cosine squared of theta equals 1. I like that, and I know that that can help me simplify this expression. Unfortunately, the only way to be able to do that is I'm going to have to be able to get these to be like terms. And unfortunately, at this stage, they are not like terms, right? You can see this is a sine of theta minus cosine of theta, and this is a cosine of theta minus a sine of theta. However, they're very, 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 very similar, right? Very, very similar. So how can I do this to kind of rewrite this or to think about them? Well, one thing I want you to think about is I can also rewrite this as a sine of theta plus a cosine of theta, right? So you can just rearrange them. And then what we could also do is factor out this negative. Now, let's kind of do a quick little review of rational functions to see what it means to have a negative in front and how you can rewrite this. So if I had like -1 over x plus 2, I could rewrite that as a -1 over an x plus 2. I could also rewrite that as a 1 over a negative x minus 2, right? So as long as you distribute that negative to your numerator or to both terms in your denominator, since this is a binomial, then these are all going to be equivalent to each other. So if I have this form and I want to factor out the negative, you can factor out the negative to a negative x plus 2, but then you can also rewrite it in front. So in the same form over here, I can factor out a negative. That's going to give me a sine of theta minus a cosine of theta. But since that's in the denominator, I can rewrite it now in front. So therefore, I'm changing this problem to a addition problem to now a subtraction problem. Okay, so let me go and tell you where my mistake equals. And again, this all equaled a sine of theta plus cosine of theta, right? Sine of theta plus cosine of theta. Okay, I don't have enough time to work through, or I don't have enough room to always go in and rewrite this, but we know that's what we're looking for, sine of theta plus cosine of theta. So the mistake that I made was I saw this sine squared and cosine squared, and I was like, well, rather than trying to combine them, let me see if I can divide them out. So what I did is I rearranged, I multiplied by the conjugate to create a sine squared minus a cosine squared, using the difference of two squares, and then I tried to combine them to get me to a sine squared. And the funny thing was, I made my mistake, but I still was able to verify the identity. So I wasn't able to catch the mistake till I worked it over again on my live stream, and then spent 15 minutes trying to figure out why my mistake worked and what was the appropriate way, right? So it can be frustrating working with these identities, I get it. But now I see that these are exactly the same. So now I can combine my numerators. Okay. And furthermore, what I want you to recognize here is if you have a sine squared of theta minus cosine squared of theta, remember, you can rewrite that as a difference of two squares, right? A squared minus b squared is a minus b times a plus b. So I can rewrite this as a sine minus cosine times a sine of theta plus a cosine of theta. And now, ladies and gentlemen, finally we got to the point where we're like, all right, now I have something in my denominator that is exactly the same in the numerator, which I can finally divide out. Now it leaves me with a sine of theta plus a cosine of theta, which is exactly what I'm looking for on the right-hand side.